Hello, this is Adam with Dream Made Productions. This video is made possible by the very kind donations of viewers like you. Thank you. If you are in a position to help this channel improve quality and grow, please visit my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/dreammadeproductions, linked below.
It is the 31st century, and mankind is once again at war. The battlefields of the future are dominated by huge robotic war machines known as battle mechs.
In 3030, Lyran troops arrived to retake the planet of Milton. Lost to the Free Worlds League 2 years prior as part of Operation DAGGER, the planet had been seized in an attempt to isolate and destroy both the 11th Lyran Guard and the 17th Lyran Guards on Wyatt. The plan ultimately failed, and now the 11th Lyran Guard arrived to liberate the world, albeit in limited numbers. Thanks to the misinformation campaign led by Duke Edward Regis and the ongoing hostilities with the newly formed Tikhonov Republic, Captain General Marik had withdrawn all but a few local militia from the planet. Bypassing the planet's 2 natural moons, the Guards deployed only 3 lances to retake Milton. Racing to seize the world before the Mariks realized the deception, the Lyran forces landed almost on top of the small but well-defended Marik base. Most of the planet still loyal to the Archon fell quickly. However, the Marik defenders had prepared their position well, installing heavily reinforced static defenses around their base. Determined to hold out as long as possible, the base had been built around batteries of energy weapons capable of being retracted into heavily reinforced bunkers, then quickly redeploying, making the base nearly impervious to long-range bombardment. Additionally, the base was powered by a large underground fusion reactor, allowing the defenders to fire their weapons without regard to ammunition levels. Perhaps the only weakness of the base was its reliance on purifier crystals to recycle its water supply. While the base had months of such crystal purifiers in storage, the last shipment was on its way when the attackers arrived. The few militia stragglers combined to form an ad hoc escort for the tanker truck. Pushed to hold the siege of the fortress while stopping the shipment and reinforcements from arriving, the Lyran commander deployed a lance to deal with the convoy. Lure Lance set up an ambush in the hills near the base, and the Lyrans pounced when the vehicles were in their kill zone. Turn 1. The commando races out of its hiding place. The Awesome walks into the path of the convoy. The Wolverine climbs the hill, taking cover behind its peak. The Javelin walks towards the commando, trying to keep it away from the PPC carriers. The lead PPC carrier cruises forward while the rearmost PPC carriers stay back. The second lead PPC carrier follows his partner. The second commando runs out from behind the hill, getting into melee with the Javelin. The truck drives towards the base. The commando fires his medium laser and SRM-6 at the Javelin. The medium laser hits the left leg, and the SRM splash across the left arm, left leg, left torso, and center torso. The Awesome lines up and fires all 3 of his PPCs at the lead PPC carrier, but misses. The Wolverine also targets a PPC carrier, firing his twin medium lasers and SRM-6. Both medium lasers melt into the front armor, one seizing up one of the drive wheels, slowing the carrier. The missiles also damage the front and left side. A PPC carrier turns his turret and targets the commando, firing all 3 PPCs, scoring a hit on the mech's left torso. Another PPC carrier also targets the small Lyran mech, with his trio of PPCs, 2 smashing into the mech's right torso, destroying it. The commando mech warrior is overwhelmed by the concentrated PPC fire, falls back, damaging his rear left torso. He fires his SRM-6 and medium laser up at the Javelin, some of the SRMs hitting the arms and center torso. The Javelin aims down at the fallen commando, unleashing both missile racks, missing with most, but some hit the legs, destroying the left leg's lower leg actuator and foot. He kicks out, the Javelin's foot cracking the armor of the commando's left arm. One of the PPC carriers targets the Awesome, firing all 3 PPCs, 2 hitting the assault mech's right arm. The other PPC carrier targets the Wolverine on the hill, savaging it with all 3 PPCs. One on the right leg, another on the right torso, and the final one on the center torso. Turn 2. The Javelin double-teamed backs away from the commandos. The lead PPC carrier grinds forward, moving as fast as he can on his damaged treads. The Wolverine turns and walks down the hill. The rear PPC carriers follow close behind the truck. The other lead PPC carrier joins his damaged partner. The commando stands and runs into melee with the 2 PPC carriers. The other commando runs with his lance mate taking cover behind the tall hill while keeping pressure on the PPC carriers. The Awesome Mech Warrior slips and falls, landing hard on his center torso and right arm. He stands and backs away. The Javelin holds his fire, unwilling to risk hitting his allies. The lead PPC carrier fires all 3 PPCs at the Awesome but misses. The commando fires his medium laser and SRM-6 at the damaged PPC carrier. The missiles pepper the mech, but the medium laser finds a weak spot on the barbette, overloading the power feed lines to the PPCs, causing an overload. The turret is ripped away as the capacitors all explode. The Awesome targets the undamaged lead PPC carrier with both of his PPCs, one ripping into the front armor. The Wolverine Alpha strikes the same PPC carrier, his large laser melting armor off the turret, while both medium lasers hit the front armor. SRM explosions bloom on the combat vehicle, ripping into the internal compartment, armor splinters shredding the driver. A PPC carrier targets the commando with all 3 PPCs. The PPCs rip into the damaged torsos and center torso, blowing the mech in half. Another PPC carrier targets the Awesome, hitting the mech with a single PPC to the left leg. The final PPC carrier targets the Wolverine, damaging the mech's center torso and right arm. Turn 3. The Javelin runs forward. The surviving crew of the now turretless PPC carrier scramble out of the crippled machine. The commando runs around the hill, trying to make a run on the rear PPC carriers. The Wolverine backs behind the hill, trying to keep pressure on the damaged PPC carrier while staying out of line of fire from the 2 rearmost ones. One of the rear PPC carriers follows the truck. The lead PPC carrier's driver is dead. The other rear PPC carrier follows his partner. The Awesome backs away. The Javelin curses as the Awesome backs out of his weapon's effective range. The commando breathes easier as the PPC carriers disappear behind the hill. The Wolverine fires his medium lasers and SRM-6 at the immobile PPC carrier. The medium lasers and SRMs savage the right side, while his kick cracks the tank's rear armor. A PPC carrier targets the distant Awesome with all 3 PPCs but misses. The crippled PPC carrier refuses to give up, turning his guns point blank on the Wolverine, hitting the right arm and torso. The other PPC carrier also targets the Awesome, scoring a hit on the right torso. The Awesome fires a dual blast of PPC energy at the Javelin, but misses. Turn 4. The Awesome charges forward at the Javelin. The commando runs around the hill, getting into melee with the rear PPC carriers. The Wolverine holds his ground. The Javelin fires his jump jets, landing behind the Awesome. The PPC carriers are stuck behind the truck. The truck turns, trying to go around the stalled PPC carrier. A PPC carrier targets the approaching commando, somehow hitting it despite the minimum range. All 3 PPCs savage the mech, destroying the left arm, a heat sink in the right torso, and the SRM-6 in the center torso. The lead PPC carrier again targets the Wolverine and scores a single hit to the right torso. The other rear PPC carrier fires on the commando to miss, but the final PPC stream crashes into the center torso, breaking the scout mech in half just like its partner. The Awesome targets one of the rear PPC carriers with all three of his PPCs, one digging into the front armor. The Wolverine Alpha strikes the remaining lead PPC carrier. His weapons rip into the internal structure, nearly exiting out the rear of the now smoldering slag heap. The Javelin fires one of his SRM-6 Spanks into the rear of the Awesome, hitting the rear center torso armor and right leg, but one finds its way into the damaged right arm, blowing out the PPC there. The Javelin pilot swings out with both battle fists, but misses. Turn 5. Tasting victory, the Awesome runs forward. The Wolverine pilot walks around the hill into melee with the PPC carriers. The PPC carriers hold their ground. The Javelin walks forward behind the Awesome. The truck completes his turn and continues forward. The Awesome unleashes his remaining PPCs on one of the PPC carriers, damaging the turret and right side seizing up the right tread. The Wolverine also targets the PPC carrier with another Alpha strike, his large laser further melting armor off the turret, while his medium lasers both hit the front armor, joined by half the missiles, sending molten armor splinters flying around inside the carrier, killing the driver as well as the crew commander. The Wolverine stomps down on the burning tank, crashing through the damaged structure, nearly getting his foot stuck on the wreckage. The Javelin empties both SRM-6 launchers into the rear of the Awesome, peppering the mech, but unable to penetrate the relatively thick rear armor. He punches out, one fist connecting with the right arm, destroying a heat sink there. The remaining PPC carrier targets the Wolverine, one PPC hitting the left leg, while two melting into the right leg, destroying the mech's upper leg actuator. Turn 6. The Javelin jumps into melee with the Wolverine. The PPC carrier backs away. The Wolverine jumps behind the landing Javelin, staying in melee with the PPC carrier. The Awesome walks following the Javelin. The truck continues forward. The Wolverine fires his medium lasers and SRM-6 at the PPC carrier. A medium laser hits the turret, but the other weapons miss. The Wolverine pilot tries to again stomp, but misjudges. His foot missing, he begins to fall, but catches himself, managing to stay on his feet. The Awesome targets the PPC carrier, ignoring the Javelin, both his PPCs crashing into the front of the tank. The Javelin's desperation rising, fires an SRM-6 Spank on the Awesome, but only two of the missiles hit, damaging the right arm and left torso. The PPC carrier responds to the Wolverine, again trying to hit the too close mech with his PPCs. Two of the PPCs crash into the center torso, damaging the fusion engine within. Turn 7. The Awesome stands still, targeting. The Javelin jumps behind the Awesome. The Wolverine walks behind the PPC carrier. The PPC carrier races as fast as he can after the truck. The truck continues to flee toward the safety of the base's engagement zone. The PPC carrier targets the Wolverine again. All three PPCs hit, destroying the right leg, right torso, and much like the commandos before, coring out the center torso, causing the mech to collapse in pieces. The Javelin again fires his SRM-6 at the Awesome, but misses. He swings out with both fists, one hitting, but unable to penetrate the armor of the rear center torso. The Awesome looks down, firing both PPCs and a small laser at the approaching PPC carrier, hitting the front armor. Then he kicks out the assault mech's foot, crashing into the tank, nearly flattening it. Turn 8. The Awesome runs after the truck. The Javelin follows behind the Awesome. The truck makes for the safety of the base. The Javelin fires both SRM-6 rack at the Awesome, but misses. He again punches out, both fists connecting with the rear center torso, but the armor still holds. His crosshairs on the truck, The awesome mech warrior holds his fire, wanting the glory of capturing the enemy supplies. Turn 9. The javelin jumps past the awesome, trying to protect the truck. The awesome mech warrior takes aim at the airborne javelin. The truck keeps moving toward the base. The javelin unleashes both SRM-6 rack at the awesome. All 12 missiles soar past harmlessly. The awesome returns fire with a dual PPC blast, but also misses. Turn 10. The javelin jumps again, trying to buy the truck more time. The awesome runs forward again, trying to finish the javelin before the pair can escape. The truck nears safety. The awesome must choose his target. He decides to go for the glory, aiming both PPCs at the javelin. The charged particles lance out, but continue on harmlessly. The javelin returns fire with an SRM-6 spank, but misses. Turn 11. The awesome mech warrior stands still, hoping he can get another shot. The javelin jumps away with the truck, as smoke shells rain down from the base, obscuring their withdrawal. Aftermath. Although the truck carrying the water purification crystals made it to the base, ultimately it only prolonged the inevitable. The mostly infantry defenders and static defenses were picked off until the remaining 2 lances of battle mechs stormed in. Even though Lore Lance was unsuccessful in stopping the truck, in the grand scheme of things, they accomplished the more important objective, stopping the PPC carriers from reaching the base. Had the PPC carriers made it to the safety of the base, it would have allowed the defenders to shore up any endangered static emplacements while keeping the fragile PPC carriers safe behind the outposts. Without the firepower of the PPC carriers, the base was unable to keep up with the mobile nature of their battle mech foe. Once the base was overrun, the surviving defenders became prisoners, and Milton would rejoice in being returned to the Commonwealth. I just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Frank Turner, or Lore as he is known on Patreon. He submitted the Lyran Lance, and so it is named in his honor. If you would like to make decisions on what is covered, please head over to Patreon. Just $1 a month gets you access to announcements, polls, and decision-making power with the channel. Thank you again, Lore. Playing the Lance you suggested was a lot of fun. Keep those suggestions coming in. And as always, I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come. Hello, this is Adam with DreamMade Productions. Thank you for watching my content. It really means a lot that you have given me the chance to entertain you. If you would like to support the channel, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below. Also below is a link for PayPal, or links if you would like to send crypto, if that's more your thing. Please know any amount that you give will be cherished and used to upgrade equipment and improve the channel. You can also help the channel by subscribing, turning on notifications, liking, commenting, and sharing my channel with anyone you think might be interested. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come.